Hey guys, welcome to my Vitality versus G2 review. This is the insane game where they actually played Garen top, and there was a lot of discussion around whether it was sportsman-like, whether G2 should have done it. The short of it is, my opinion is, it is kind of a dick move from G2 to play Garen top. It's just not a very viable pick, and it is just trying to style on Vitality. It is them showing like, we are so much better than everyone else in Europe, so we can do whatever the hell we want. And this time it went a little overboard, and it was one of those happy games, as they like to say. So yeah, let's figure out exactly what happened in the game. Irelia ban, Kiana ban. Well, surprised to see Irelia ban so highly, and also the Yasuo ban. Perks has said he will play Yasuo every time it's up, and he's kept his word since he said that. So Yasuo ban. Yuumi ban. Yuumi's one of the best first picks right now, especially with teams dropping Karma Prio. There isn't a lot of good other first picks. Silas ban, something that Jankos has shown a lot of proficiency on. Draven, that's more of a Attila special. They might be playing certain bot lane that might need Draven ban. Lucian is one. Oh yeah, Perks was spamming the hell out of Lucian in solo queue, so that's maybe why the Draven ban came out. Ooh, Xayah first pick. Holy shit, this is spicy. Xayah first pick. Yeah, break up the Xayah Rakan. Perks pick Garen. They've literally been picking things off of fan sign. Yeah. So far, like a serious draft. Rakan, cutting away Rakan from Xayah. Azir early. Karma. The weird thing about Karma is I actually don't think she's that OP anymore, but teams are still picking the hell out of her. Quirky Azir poggers. Exactly what they're here for. Yeah, Lucian. That's what the Draven ban signals, that he wants to pick Lucian. Lucian just has very little tools to play against Draven because of your range, and like Lucian is supposed to be like an elusive champion, but Draven is just like front facing damage. Like there's no way to really dodge Draven damage. So as a Lucian, like your elusivity really doesn't matter that much, and Draven just rips your face apart. Nautilus ban. It's kind of a little bit weird, but still understandable. Rakan and Lucian are both champions that heavily depend on mobility. Seju ban, because G2 has the first pick with jungle, because they're on purple side and they have the fourth pick here. I think that's why they're banning it. Olaf ban, that's Mowgli's most played jungler and one of his best. I actually think Mowgli's not the best Olaf, but he does play it a lot. Kled ban. So a lot of time people end up picking Kled into these range matchups. They were doing it even before the Kled buff. If I remember correctly, Kingzone was doing it in Rift Rivals even before the Kled buff, so that's why they're banning it out. Garen. Okay, they do it later. Gragas. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't take Jarvan here. I actually think Jarvan pick here would have worked really nicely. Because one thing you do want to do is separate AP 80 damage from mid. And Gragas engage isn't the greatest comparatively to Jarvan. I just think there's a tier of jungle. It goes Sejuani, Jarvan, and then everything else. Like Sejuani, Jarvan, and then stuff like Gragas, Elise, Lee Sin, Olaf, those things are all the way down there. I just think Sejuani, Jarvan are the best two by far. The only time where I feel like Gragas is on par with Seju Jarvan is if you're playing it with a Yasuo mid lane. Actually, hovered. Garen end up picking Fiddle. So this Fiddle pick actually works out really well in conjunction with what's kind of going on. Alright, actually let's let them swap out champions and then we can talk about things. And then the Garen pick actually came down. Okay, so how does Fiddle pick? Fiddle is a lot of CC plus engage. And Lucian and Rakan are both so based on mobility. They're both all about being mobile and being really elusive. And hard CC like Fiddle fucks with that a lot. So you're gonna see a lot of that this game, where Fiddle Fear is fucking up the Rakan, where Fiddle Fear is fucking up the Lucian. Because they rely on their mobility skill, like Lucian with his E, Rakan with his W and E, to be tanky, to dodge stuff. That's their survivability. So if you look at rest of the comp, I actually don't like Vitality's comp. This comp comes with so little engage. It has a lot of priority, it has a lot of poke tools, it has a lot of damage, and there's a lot of playmaking, but the only engage and CC is really coming from Fiddle. As for G2's comp, if we ignore the Garen, there's a lot of well-balanced things going around about it. Heavy carries with Azir and Lucian, good engage from Gragas, but when you add the Garen pick, this is where it gets really fucking weird. This is just a pure disrespect pick. This is just them saying we can pick Garen and get away with it. I think like the only champion like Garen is viable versus are are bruiser melee champions. Bruiser melee champions that rely on mobility. I think that's like the only time where Garen is viable. If they are gonna play Garen, it has to be versus stuff like Irelia. I think Irelia is like an actual champion you can play Garen into. Camille. What else? What's like a mobile melee champion that has to be up in your face and that also relies on their gap closers? Yasuo can be hard. Maybe Yasuo, Ribbon, stuff like that. Champions that have mobility and that rely on their mobility and that have to be in melee range. Not saying Garen is like a hard counter to all these champions, but Garen at least makes more sense when you're playing it into Doge. When you're playing it into ranged champions, it's just absolute fucking cancer because you have no way to really gap close. So yeah, it's just near impossible. I mean, if you look at rest of G2's draft, it's just team fighting comp without a real tank. Gragas will build full AP, Rakan will be squishy, so they're going to have good engage, they have good backline, but they're not going to have a great tank. So if they get engaged on first by Fiddle, if Vitality is making plays first, then it can be bad. Alright, let's start. Let's fast forward, we don't need to... Early game from Lee is going to be really important. While both comps have pretty decent scaling, Lee at least has some onus to make early game plays. It's not that bad versus Gragas. You're not going to get outscaled amazingly, but it is still something you kind of do want to worry about. G2 getting to lane first and starting to push. This is a very common Gragas start nowadays. This is really powerful. So, oh shit, I forgot to move camera. My bad. Oh, let me go back a little bit and actually explain to you guys. So G2 waiting here. So this is really powerful in terms of... so Gragas is starting Wraith, right? And he's starting Wraith without any kind of leash. So sometimes junglers will start Wraith or Wolf when they can do it without a leash because it does two things. It allows you to hide your jungle pathing. The enemy team won't know where you started due to both top and bot being able to get to lane first. And also the additional bonus is both teams are teams have gotten really good at laning and really good at squeezing out advantages, and people have figured out getting to lane early and either starting with a freeze and denying a minion or setting on the wave up for a gank, or getting to lane first and being able to push from level 1 and play for the level 2 power spike and just have dominance on the lane and be able to wave control is really powerful. So allowing both your top and bot to do that is a really powerful tool in itself. That's why these like Wraith red double golem recall with Predator, or like Wolf red double golem pathing have gotten really popular. They're just, it's not the most efficient jungle pathing, but there's a lot of power in being able to hide information. Oh my god, Cabo Shard. Straight missing mantra Q. Damn, first among top laners, that jungle proximity. Yeah, Gragas doing 3 camps and backing. Lee started top side on the way to bot. Ooh, interesting invade here. So Xayah Fiddle, I know, also another thing about Fiddle is Fiddle's really easy to get wave control. Wow, I can't believe this shit worked. They have bot lane pushed in. They also have mid prio too. Yeah. They have mid and bottom prio. Like, look at the huge fucking wave that's built here. They have bot and mid prio, so Jankos had no choice but to give it up. And this quirky back is so sneaky. He's like, they think I'm right here, invading with them. There's no way Caps thinks I back, so I'm gonna take the back. So sneaky. Oh, damn. A viewer pointed out something really good from earlier, where he said Cabo Shard didn't miss his Q. He just wanted the Klepto proc, and I think you're 100% correct. He wanted the Klepto proc. Anyways, good blue invade from Vitality. Great gank coverage from Mowgli. Mowgli's just been playing so much better. The Vitality games I watched earlier in the season, Mowgli was invading by himself, getting caught out by himself, bot lane was dying solo, Zizuke wasn't able to split push. They just weren't functional as a team. I mean, this game blows up, and I know G2 got blown out of the water, but I'm trying to think what role Garen would have played in a more even game. The way that Vitality is playing this is on a knife's edge. They're playing with lane prio and getting stuff done. They're not really ganking. They're just giving Lee Sin space to do stuff he wants, like take early dragon, invade. It's interesting. This is not an easy playstyle to play out. Playing with prio and playing a very, I would say, wow. How did he die there? Starting with E-Flash, auto, knock up, feared. Oh, that fear plus ignite. Yeah, fear plus ignite kept him under turret too long. Jankos just wanted to get the knock up and probably back out. But even then, yeah, were they able to deny a lot of CS here? They weren't able to deny a lot of CS. They were up already about 14 CS, and then they're going to be able to deny additional about 4 CS and the XP too. Isn't range point and click CC a bad mechanic? It's an extremely powerful mechanic. So there's something called power budget. So basically it's this. Riot is your mom. Riot is your parents. and Riot will give you $200 to spend on ability. So but a range point and click CC is a very expensive ability and a very powerful ability. So if you have a range point and click CC, rest of your kit will be weak. I think almost all of Fiddle's kit's power is in... Fiddle basically just doesn't have a W, because his other skills are so powerful. Mowgli going for the dive, I guess, but doesn't even have ult, so I'm not sure how they're going to get that one off. Jack Troll waited. Oh man, I don't even need to see the replay. I'll tell you guys what happened. Jack Troll either waited here or waited here, and G2 thought he backed. You can see he didn't he only still has his starting item, so G2 thought he backed. So they were probably trying to push out, and they thought it was only Xayah, and then Jack Troll was able to land really good ult, really good E. Wow, they actually got the dive on top side too. How the fuck did they kill him? Wow, they're not the observer fucked up hella here. It's not showing how either party died. They're just showing the death. Oh. Oh my. Really great reaction from Cabo. Alright, let's see some replays, observer. Show me how bot and top died. Some replays, please. Observer. There we go. Yep. Waited in the brush. They thought there was no way he's here. Oh my god, this is brutal. All the minions died, so the bounce is just going between these two. Attila got E flash and got the root and damage on both of them too. Let's see, nice Q. Oh. He got rooted here. What was he doing before? Mistake on his part. He had to make sure he could get rooted. Good root into Q. Good follow up from the Lee. When people say they didn't lose from Garen, I hope they mean they didn't solely lose from Garen, because Garen definitely played a part in their loss. God, Fiddle's so brutal. There's no counterplay to Flash Q. Flash Q into CC lock into death. Wow. Second blue deny. Damn, Vitality's actually doing such a great job of invading on prio and actually playing with the priority. This is not the Vitality I saw in the earlier parts of the split. Do you think we're going to see more Fiddle support? No. So the thing about Fiddle support is normally you can just gank the hell out of it. You can gank it over and over again, and because Fiddle's so reliant on pushing lane, it's really hard to wave control. But what G2's doing really well is they're maintaining mid priority and they're taking bot priority, and they're constantly invading enemy jungle and denying him the blue and getting good vision on him. So they're not giving G2 a lot of opportunity to gank bot side. And when you have both control in mid and bot lane in terms of priority, it's really hard to come bot side without people actually knowing. Second Inferno Drake. Don't have bot lane control this time. Have to wait until bot lane pushes up. Can't do this right now. Oh, that dragon start was so bad. They could have just waited a bit more. They end up getting it anyways. Because of the Fiddle thing. Fiddle being able to ult from here while they go into finish dragon. Well, that was actually really nice. Jankos got chunked a lot at the dragon. Look, he's almost at 3/4 HP. And they lose a lot of HP doing dragon. Fiddle ult combined with lead timing. Able to take dragon. Zactrol driving rest of the team out. Wow, this guy's actually really good at fiddle. He knows how to use ult really well. He knows when to use ult for zone control. He knows when to wait in lane and try to bait a fight. He's actually a decent fiddle player. I just haven't seen good fiddles in a while. I think Mata used to be a really good fiddle player. And after that, there just wasn't a lot of good fiddle players in NA. With fiddle, it's a lot of like finding very, very small windows and like shoving yourself in that small window and opening the gap wide. And Jack Trolls has been doing such a good job with that. He's seeing these like small windows where G2 is vulnerable and just busting it wide open. Making plays on top side because that's one place they can be strong. They also swapped out early. Game is slowly getting out of control because of the double inferno and both teams want a team fight. Like, so one win condition that G2 already always has is Wonder's split pushing, right? And they're able to play the map in a really wide way. But when Wonder's playing Garen, there's no split push. That's where I actually think Garen pick is like really fucking them. They can't play the map as wide as they normally want to. And they're kind of forced into this team fight. They're forced to team fighting the other team. The other team has 2 Infernos. They're forced to team fight. Yeah, like Wonder can't do anything. He's not an actual player who can answer Garen in the side lane if it takes so long to kill the guy. Here's the thing. So when you put Garen and Karma in a side lane, what happens is the Garen will start slowly getting pushed in. Because Karma's able to poke Garen, Garen can't gap close on the Karma, Karma has better wave clear. So eventually you get pushed in as Garen, and even if the Karma can't kill you, she can shove you under your turret and start roaming around the map and affecting the map. So you're just incredibly useless compared to the Karma. You can't side lane versus the Karma when you group. Actually, I missed a really great engage from Vitality. Let's slow this down here. Oh man, how did Jack Troll sneak in there? So Jack Troll went past the ward. They know he's here. He sweeped this out. They should still know he's here. Yeah, that ward allows him to know Jack Troll is here. They had a good opening on Jack Troll. Damn, but even though this is like Mickey X opening the fight on Jack Troll, it still doesn't matter because he's able to get his fear off before he got knocked up. So Mickey X gets feared and then dies in the process. And Yanko's here, 1v1ing the Mowgli, and Mowgli able to get nice insect, finish him off with the Corki. Whoa, how did Caps die? Oh, Cabo got the root on him. How did you get rooted here? Oh, he just kept attacking the Karma. Oh, this is such a basic mistake. He saw Karma TP in and he sat there to attack Karma while the Karma rooted him. That was so stupid. Wait, what the fuck? He just sat there and got rooted. Yeah. G2's level of play was god-awful this game. But the Garen played a huge part on why they lost the game. G2 can come behind. Like, one thing that gets underappreciated about G2 is their mid game. And G2 is this kind of team that'll play loose. And when they need to be serious, like they'll tighten up and they'll play really serious. So one thing in spring that I really liked to watch was when G2 was behind. I think G2 played their best League of Legends when they were behind. I absolutely believe that statement. G2 played their best League of Legends when they were behind. They were so crisp. They were very creative about getting back. They played the map in a very wide way. One thing that Garen does is there's no macro to be had with Garen. When he's playing Garen and he falls behind, there's no macro to be had. The game is just done. I think there's a lot of teams in the world that can snowball the way G2 does when given the lead. But I think there's so little teams in the world that can do what G2 does when they fall behind in terms of about playing the map in a wide way. I mean, think about teams like IG and C9. When they get leads, they can be quick about closing out games too. That part of G2 is a strong aspect, but it's not what makes them really unique. When you really think about like how G2 plays when they're behind, it's like that's where G2 is like, holy shit, there's no other team in the world that can do that. That's where G2 is just absolute monsters. The champion flexibility and the ability to play from behind, I think those are two things that are unique to G2 and no other teams in the world has. No, C9 is very good about closing out games. And you guys are lulled of viewing, but C9, when they get a lead and how they close is extremely aggressive. They're definitely not as consistent, but they're still very good about closing out games. This game's over. G2 can't teamfight. Also, Mickey needs to get a QSS. It's kind of like playing versus Skarner as Fiddle. You kind of have to rush QSS. You can see how Perks rushed QSS. He needs it versus the Fiddle. And Mickey X also needs to pay the QSS tax, but he's not paying the QSS tax. Like, Fiddle is Skarner. Fiddle literally is Skarner. You have to pay the tax. If you don't pay the tax, you're going to be worse in team fights, and that's what's happening. It's so hard for G2 to check in. The Gragas is going to get bursted wide open. Rakan's going to get bursted wide open. Oh, they actually found a good opportunity on Jack Troll there. They're just... The only way G2 can win is a thick engage from Gragas or Rakan and insta-deleting the Fiddle and then playing out rest of the fight. But Karma makes that hard. Why they need to insta-delete the Fiddle is if they don't insta-delete like a very, very important target or the Fiddle just counter-engages. Or the very important target will kill the rest of G2. Garen is a very weird tank in the sense that he has no CC as a tank. One of the core aspects of a tank is you have CC. Because, I mean, one, you're not going to be fucking doing damage. Then you're not a tank. You're a bruiser. too. So like all the tank stats in the world don't matter if you can't CC and hold people in place. They can just ignore you. And Garen is kind of that, especially when he's behind. He doesn't have damage. He doesn't have CC. He's just like a giant ball of stats. Yep, there's that VIT engage with no QSS tax paid. My God. You know what's sad about this game? Vitality played pretty well. And I think that's going to be flying under the radar. And I don't think they're going to get credit. Vitality did play well. And they created leads on their own in bot lane. And the fiddle pick actually really worked out for them. When it came to mid game, it was asked for G2 and they didn't have options. But the way Vitality invaded onto bottom side, the way they, constantly were able to deny blue buff, the amount of control they had on bot lane, the amount of prio they had, was really good. Like, Vitality played well, but they're not going to get any of the credit because we don't even talk about Vitality playing well this game. The only thing we talk about this game is G2 played Garen and they trolled. That's the only thing that's really talked about, where Vitality actually played really well.